Men of Reddit, what was something you didn't know about women until you got with one? Story 1. At 17 years old, I was awoken to a new experience. The unbelievably soft feeling of high thread count sheets. I had no idea sheets could be so comfortable. My female companion laughed when I exclaimed in wonderment, "Why the heck is this bed as soft as a cloud?" When she then tried out my bed, she truly understood the difference in comfort. This was the moment I learned about thread count. It was an eye-opening experience. Story 2. I was taken aback by the incredible softness of my wife's hand after my first shoulder surgery. The nerve was blocked in my arm, and I couldn't feel a thing for 24 hours. It felt like I had a stranger's hand for a while. When I felt my own, I was shocked. It felt like a catcher's glove. Astonished, I asked my wife, "You let me touch you with this hand?" But the contrast of our delicate touch was undeniable, and I was reminded of the immense love between us. Story 3. Realizing the power of a good woman has really opened my eyes. It's amazing how someone special can make you realize how much potential you have and how much you can accomplish. The idea of chasing after a woman based solely on looks is dumbfounding to me. Not to say that a great woman can't be stunningly beautiful. I just think it's so much more important to focus on the quality she brings to the relationship. Story 4. I was completely taken aback when more than one of my ex-boyfriends accused me of having an insatiable appetite for sex. I was certain that it couldn't be true. My self-confidence was gradually chipped away as I was constantly bombarded with this false narrative. Now I'm so consumed with guilt that I can't even bring myself to initiate sex with my current partner, despite the fact that he does have a healthy libido. It's undeniably unfair that the burden of initiating sex falls on him. Story 5. Over the years, I had to come to understand the subtle, nonverbal signals women gave me. Gone were the days of straightforward communication, and in high school, I was left trying to decipher what a certain tone meant. I had an interesting experience with one girl in particular. In my freshman year, I asked her out and she said no. I was too short. I was disappointed, but I moved on. However, she continued to tease me all the way through my senior year when she asked me to prom. I already had a relationship, so I turned her down, but I asked her why she had changed her mind. She said she had liked me all along and was trying to signal that to me, but I kept not getting it, and then she got frustrated, so she thought it would be more obvious if she teased me a lot. I was confused. Was this really her way of showing me she liked me? Story 6. I had no idea there was so much to learn about periods. It's not just about bleeding and cramps once a month. There's so much more to it. For example, women may experience their period in different ways, and chocolate or ice cream don't always provide instant relief. Additionally, if you take the pill regularly, you may be told to take a placebo pill every 4th week so that you can still have your period but stay in the habit of taking the pill every day. However, if you don't take a break from the pill, you won't have periods at all, and this may lead to a whole host of other issues, as my wife experienced. Story 7. My wife had been struggling with her mental health for a while, but her psychologist, whom she had seen for 2 years, seemed to do more harm than good. She was sent to Dr. Gabor Mate, who was a trauma grifter and bookseller with no clinical training. Though he was only a physician, the damage he caused to my wife's mental health in 2 months was far more than any trauma she ever faced. So, seeking help, she visited a professional psychiatrist who was also a woman. She immediately advised my wife to throw away the books from her previous therapist and start an actual treatment plan, which included medication and therapy. Now, she's starting to get back to her usual self, but the sad fact is that many women aren't taken seriously when it comes to their mental health. Story 8. I had a girlfriend who was always trying to make out whenever we met. While I won't deny that I found it enjoyable, I decided that we should learn to enjoy each other's company without doing anything sexual. When I suggested this to her, she was taken aback and then said that men should never deny women their sexual needs. I was amazed and asked if the same applied the other way around. She said no, and if a girl says no, a guy should stop immediately. Needless to say, it was not long before we broke up, and I lost all respect for her. Story 9. I had no concept of the lack of research and knowledge that exists in the field of medicine when it comes to the female anatomy, until my girlfriend opened my eyes to the reality of her experiences versus my own at the doctor's office. It's genuinely astonishing to think about a woman having to explain her symptoms to a male gynecologist, considering the male-centric bias that is present in the medical sciences. Story 10. When my wife and I began dating, I jokingly suggested that I could pick her up and throw her across the room. She responded by challenging me, so I took her up on it and tossed her onto the bed. We started to wrestle, and I quickly realized that she was really trying. Having worked out regularly, but not being some kind of power lifter, I was able to easily overpower her with only a quarter of my strength. This made me terrified of the fact that someone with less wholesome intentions might use their strength advantage to hurt her or any woman. From that day forward, I have been incredibly aware of the strength differential between men and women. Story 11. If a girl ever offers you dessert, always say yes. Too often, girls struggle with body image and other issues related to their physical appearance. And sometimes, they are apprehensive to have a sweet treat because they don't want you to think they are overweight or pigging out. So while it doesn't apply to every situation, sometimes when a girl asks you if you want ice cream, she just really wants ice cream. Story 12. I'm one of the most extreme cases of period pain that you'll ever hear about. Not only have I endured years of medical tests and scans, but I've also had to deal with months of heavy, painful menstruation and bouts of nausea. Even more shocking is the fact that my doctor told me that I may have never been born with 2 ovaries or that one of them may have shifted in such a way that it's hidden. I find this hard to believe, and I think it's more likely that one of my ovaries contained a large cyst, which eventually ruptured and caused the ovary to burst. Due to my condition, I'm often seen as a medical enigma. Recent studies have shown that cramps experienced by some women can feel as intense as a heart attack. Of course, this doesn't stop us from going about our day-to-day lives as if nothing is wrong. Story 13. The most beautiful and sweet thing anyone can do for a woman is buy her some naproxenic when she's running low. I was cleaning out her medicine chest and noticed my wife was running low on naproxenic. So when I went to the pharmacy to replenish supplies, I got her some more. When I told her, she broke down in tears and told me it was the kindest and most thoughtful thing anyone has ever done for her in her life. Story 14. I thought it was just my mom and sisters, but it turns out it's most, if not all, women when it comes to their menstrual cycles. It really drives them crazy. As a guy who's usually pretty laid back, I found myself in some pretty intense arguments with my girl around the time of her period. Last time, she even went as far as to breaking up with me because I refused to give her my credit card number. Even though we're in a relationship, there still needs to be some boundaries. Thankfully, when the PMS was over, she apologized and asked to come back. But man, it seems like we end up breaking up at least half the time it hits. I guess I just have to accept that it's part of the package for the majority of them. Story 15. I was surprised to discover that women are actually humans just like me. Before I had a girlfriend, I couldn't believe how similar we really were. They get morning breath, they get sick, they eat, they sleep, and they even have to go to the bathroom. I learned about the complexities of their menstrual cycles and even how weird and uncomfortable it can be for them. My fear of women was eliminated since I saw that they are just like me and live their lives on this planet in the same way. Popular culture has created a false perception of women, making them either helpless and brainless or invincible sex symbols. I was shocked to see how much I had bought into these lies. Despite knowing all this before, I had to live it to actually understand it. Story 16. A couple of summers ago, my sister and I would often embark on late-night strolls, only to be relentlessly followed, verbally harassed, and have objects thrown at us. On one occasion, we were so scared we had to hide behind trees. When I told my then-boyfriend about this, he blamed us for being out late at night, as if we were somehow responsible for the harassment.